He became the richest man on earth by controlling the future of technology. But behind the billions, the power and the genius, there was a quiet cost no one saw. This isn't just the story of money or success. It's the story of what Bill Gates had to lose to change the world. Bill Gates is often introduced as a symbol, not a human being. A billionaire. A genius. The man who put a computer on every desk and in every home. To the world, he represents ultimate success. Proof that intelligence and ambition can reshape civilization. But this story matters because success has a shadow. Bill Gates didn't just build Microsoft. He helped define how modern life works. How we communicate. How we work. How power is created in the digital age. Yet while the world watched his rise, very few asked what that kind of pressure does to a person. This isn't just a tech story. It's a human story about obsession, control, sacrifice, and identity. Because when someone becomes one of the most powerful men alive at such a young age, something else is often left behind. Friendships. Balance. Emotional space. Understanding Bill Gates means understanding the hidden cost of greatness. The loneliness of being ahead of everyone else. The weight of responsibility when millions depend on your decisions. This story matters because it forces a difficult question. Is changing the world worth losing parts of yourself along the way? And the answer is more complicated than success ever shows. To the public, Bill Gates was calm, logical, almost machine-like. A man who spoke in code, not emotion. But privately, his mind was never quiet. From a young age, Gates lived under relentless pressure, much of it self-created. He wasn't chasing money. He was chasing perfection. Control. Proof that his vision was right. That obsession isolated him. While others built friendships, he built systems. While others rested, he worked through nights that blurred into mornings. Inside Microsoft, he was feared and respected. Outside it, he struggled to connect. There was also fear beneath the confidence. Fear of being outpaced. Fear of losing relevance. Fear that slowing down would mean falling behind forever. The public saw a billionaire genius. The private reality was a man constantly defending his position at the top. Every mistake felt catastrophic. Every competitor felt like a threat to his identity. And as his power grew, so did the distance between him and everyone else. Because when your worth becomes tied to winning, rest feels dangerous, and vulnerability feels impossible. Bill Gates wasn't just building software. He was building armor, one achievement at a time, hoping it would protect him from failure, and from himself. At the height of Microsoft's rise, Bill Gates lived inside a rhythm few could survive. Days began early, ended late, and often never truly stopped. His lifestyle wasn't luxurious in the traditional sense. It was disciplined, controlled, intense. Meetings felt like intellectual battles. Ideas were challenged aggressively. Silence meant weakness. Being unprepared meant public dismantling. This environment wasn't cruelty for its own sake. It was Gates' belief that excellence only emerges under pressure. He pushed others the same way he pushed himself. But this way of living came at a cost. Relationships became scheduled. Personal moments were optimized. Even downtime was measured against productivity. Inside his own home, the same mindset followed him. Work never fully left the room. Decisions, strategies, and future threats lived constantly in his head. The struggle wasn't just competition with rivals. It was competition with time itself. As Microsoft grew into a global force, the pressure intensified. Regulators watched. Critics questioned his power. The world began to push back. And for the first time, Bill Gates faced something his intellect couldn't immediately control. The reality that dominance attracts resistance. Success had built his empire. But it was also building the storm around him. The pressure didn't just stay in boardrooms. It followed him home. It settled into his thoughts. It shaped how he related to people closest to him. Success narrowed his world. As Microsoft became more powerful, Gates became more guarded. Trust was harder. Relaxation felt undeserved. Every conversation carried the weight of expectation. Emotionally, the constant battle took its toll. The fear of losing control created distance, not only from competitors, but from family and friends. Decisions were made quickly, logically, often without room for softness. Public scrutiny intensified everything. Criticism wasn't just professional anymore. It became personal. His image shifted from visionary to villain in the eyes of many. That shift forced him into reflection. He began to realize that winning at all costs leaves scars. On relationships. On mental peace. On the ability to simply exist without proving something. The cost of being the richest and most powerful wasn't just exhaustion. It was emotional isolation. When your identity is built entirely on achievement, any threat to success feels like a threat to self. And slowly, the question changed. Not how much more he could build, but what he was losing while building it. There came a point when Bill Gates understood that dominance was no longer the goal. Survival, as a human being, not just a leader, was. Stepping away from Microsoft wasn't an escape. It was an admission that control has limits. That legacy is more than market share. He began to redirect his intensity towards something different, impact beyond himself. Not competition but contribution. Not winning but solving. In doing so, he gained perspective. Time to think without urgency. Space to listen without defending. But something was also lost. The sharp edge that built an empire never fully disappears. Neither does the weight of choices made in pursuit of greatness. What changed was intention. Success stopped being about proving intelligence. It became about using it. And for the first time, Bill Gates wasn't just shaping systems. He was questioning the life he had built around them. There came a moment when Bill Gates realized that being in control of everything was no longer the same as being fulfilled. Stepping away from Microsoft wasn't defeat, it was clarity. A recognition that success, when chased without pause, can quietly hollow you out. He began redirecting his focus toward impact rather than dominance. From competing to contribute. From building products to solving problems that affected human lives. This shift gave him something he hadn't allowed himself before: reflection. Time to think without urgency. The ability to listen without preparing a counterargument. But transformation always comes with loss. The identity forged in relentless competition never fully fades. Neither does the regret of moments missed while building an empire. What changed was his definition of success. It stopped being about control, power, or proving brilliance. It became about meaning. And in that realization, Bill Gates didn't abandon ambition. He finally learned how to aim it. Today, when people look at Bill Gates, they see a man who has everything. But the deeper story isn't about what he owns, it's about what he understands. That success is loud in the beginning. But its consequences are quiet. They arrive late at night, in moments of stillness, when no one is watching. His life reminds us that being ahead of the world often means being alone in it. That changing history can cost pieces of your present. Bill Gates didn't just help shape the future. He lived inside the pressure of creating it. And maybe the most powerful lesson from his story isn't about money, or intelligence, or innovation. It's about balance. Because in the end, the world will remember what you built. But only you will know what it took from you. And that question, was it worth it, is one only you can answer.